Hello everyone, this is Walking Problem. Welcome to another episode of Common Bad. Today's date is the 30th of November, and a few days ago, on the 26th of November, we got the awful news uh, about Omicron. This name is actually rather new. It was previously have a very sexy name called B.1.1.1529. So this variant is also known as the variant of concern. So I believe you should already know by now Omicron, but if you do not know, let's go through this a bit. It is first reported to WHO from South Africa on the 24th of November. So the epidemiological situation is characterized by the three distinct peaks in reported cases, and basically it increased steeply, and there's a large number of mutations, which is very concerning, and then which means that the vaccines or the medicines may not be able to deal with this variant of the virus as well. So, and we are already struggling pretty much against Delta. So, from my understanding, from the news article that I had read, I think 50% of the reported cases in South Africa is the Omicron. I might be wrong. This is what I recall. So, why? And you probably have already noticed all the crazy reaction from all around the world. Like immediately, you can see Australia, USA, Singapore, and all sort of countries immediately enacted travel bans and border closure against a basket of African countries, especially South Africa. So all these African countries that have reported cases of Omicron, I think they have all pretty much shut the borders to these countries. Although I seriously don't think many people go in and out of this country, at least not to Asia. So why the concern? Because if this variant can dominate South Africa, where the global, most of the world's virus variant for the SARS-CoV-2, basically it's SARS-2. We had SARS, right? This is SARS-2. They just want to give it a sexy name called SARS-CoV-2, or you can just call it Wuhan virus. So the Wuhan virus, basically, the Delta variant dominated the Alpha variant, and that's how we end up with the most of the COVID-19 or SARS-2 or Wuhan virus around the world now is Delta. And Omicron have the power to actually dominate Delta in South Africa, which means that Omicron is more powerful, and also as per the reports, it actually spreads faster, a lot faster than Delta, which is pretty scary. So they say this variant is detected at a faster rate than previous surges, so suggesting that this variant may have a growth advantage. So this is like another powered up version of the virus. So what I want to say in this video is actually that all your plans and belief and thinking that this pandemic is going to be over, you can throw it out of the window now because of this Omicron. When we were actually dealing with Alpha pretty much decently until Delta came about. And this is the Delta variant wiki page. I want you to note, it was first detected in India in late 2020. Although it took a long time before it get the name, which is May 31st, it got the name Delta. And eventually it spread to 163 countries by August. And WHO indicated in June basically, just after they give it a name, that the Delta variant is becoming the dominant strain globally. So today, it is definitely the global strain, which is why you see all the surges all around the world. Every country is struggling to deal with Delta, actually. Even in Singapore, with extremely good contact tracing, extremely good healthcare system, extremely obedient population, extremely authoritarian government, we are unable to control the Delta spread. It's only recently that we see the numbers going down. The past 2-3 weeks, they managed to go down due to all the extreme draconian restrictions that we have in Singapore, and we managed to control the situation. However, this Delta is wreaking havoc around the world. And it seems like the more vaccinated you are, the country, the more people seems to be getting it for some reason. There are some theories that because you are vaccinated, you're more prone to interact with the virus, and then you're able to catch it. But because the vaccine works, so most people actually don't have serious illness. So it's like a double-edged sword in a way. But once you get it, you get natural immunity, which is much better than the vaccine. So that's something to consider. However, how long it took? Late 2020. And now we are witnessing the real second wave, which is the Delta wave. The first wave, Alpha and all the various Beta and Charlie or whatever, don't know what variants, they are all not significant variants, which is why Alpha, generally, they're all more or less the same. It only took until the Delta variant that we actually see something that's really drastically different. That's why Delta managed to create a real new wave of death and destruction all around the world. And Singapore being very closed and very restricted, Singapore took a long time before we caught the Delta wave. But when you look at countries like India, or you look at countries like Indonesia, where restrictions are very lax, and the government generally just is like had a hands-off approach, the virus spread quickly, and like in Indonesia, everything is back to normal now. I believe they already had their what they call herd immunity already. However, this so why Delta is so scary is because Delta was able to reinfect people that already recovered from Alpha, which is why you have the stories where someone have caught COVID before, and then they didn't really have much problem with it. They recovered pretty quickly, and then they caught it a second time, and this second time gave them hell, and this hell came from Delta. So the first variant wasn't that deadly, or it wasn't that scary. Most people, there are people who deals badly with it, but a lot of people deals pretty well. But in their second time that they caught the COVID, it was hell, very hellish for them. People like Joe Rogan, Tim Pool, all these people, they caught the Delta variant, which is why they have a lot of pain. And then Tim Pool have a very good video, talking about what he actually experienced. I think it's very illuminating about how the virus actually works, because he interviewed a lot of people who caught it, but so he heard a lot about it, but it's only until he caught it himself that's when he able to really articulate very clearly what it's like. And hearing it, I was really afraid of catching it. But here comes Omicron. If Delta is the real second wave, because I have been criticizing all countries around the world for anyhow calling their waves, right, different waves, as second, third, fourth wave, I think it's like a ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's like they just look at the graph and then, oh, this is a wave, this is a wave. I don't think in terms of a pandemic, that's how the wave is counted. The wave is like a totally different variant. They come in, then they sweep through the entire country with a new wave of destruction that the previous wave did not see. That should be the real way of calling something a wave. So alpha was the first wave. The different the up and downs in the waves in the first year in 2020, that was because of every country's various restrictions and way of dealing with the virus, which is why we have the the up and downs, and then they start to call these waves. I think that is still the same wave. It's actually still the same virus. You're just dealing with it. That's why when you push down, where we say flatten the curve. That's what we will try. What every country is trying to do. They are trying to flatten the curve, which is why the wave is like becoming. There's multiple waves, but actually they are all part of the same wave, which is the alpha wave. Then came delta, which you see a much larger spike in terms of infection and also death rate. Singapore did not only had like 1 or 2 or 3 deaths from alpha, but delta is causing deaths on a daily basis, almost daily basis if I'm not wrong, or daily basis. Like a lot of people is dying in Singapore despite the vaccination rate, despite all the restrictions. And the people who are skeptical or believe that there's a conspiracy going on, they don't understand that you cannot compare last year with this year. It's a totally different virus essentially, which is why we was during the Trump era, people were saying, oh this, like, people did not get vaccinated and so few people died, and now people vaccinated and much more people caught it, and more people died. That is the wrong way of analyzing the situation, because it's a different variant, and that the Delta variant is much more deadly and much more infectious, which then come back to Omicron again. This is much more powerful than Delta. The amount of information on Omicron is not clear yet. I believe all the labs around the world is trying to get samples and data which they can analyze, and then they can formulate some form of ways to deal with it. The big pharma is excited about this. Immediately they set off to work to change their vaccine to deal with Omicron, and which also means a lot more money for them. All the big pharma, all of them. So Omicron is going to be the third wave. It's going to come quickly and deadly. I'm not sure how deadly it will be, but it's definitely going to come quickly. It's going to spike up all the waves again. There could be a case where people who are vaccinated, who even recovered from Delta, may catch it again. This is a possibility. We have to be prepared for such eventuality, which means that all the restrictions that have been lifted might come back in again, no matter how you believe or don't believe in it, because it's gonna come. It's just a different virus. So I know in Europe and in USA, a lot of things has went back to normal. I really very envy that people don't wear masks to go out. However, I think this is going to be short-lived. Once Omicron goes ashore, I believe it's going to wreak havoc. This is what I believe. And next year today, we will be back at the exact same situation, just as in the Delta variant that was detected in late 2020 in India. We now just detected Omicron in South Africa. We're going to see Omicron spread across the world over the next 1 year. And next year today, we will still be in the same situation. This is what I think. So mentally prepared for it. I think to make, if you want to go overseas, you want to make some plans, you should go now. Or you may not be able to go again because the border is going to be closed again. I believe in maybe half a year's time. So if you look at from, I think in Singapore, the Delta started to hit around I think April. That's when the restriction, we have a social group of I think 8, and that was smashed. And back to 0. We have we had a lockdown again, or almost a full lockdown. It wasn't a full lockdown. That was around April, if I didn't remember wrongly. So we might actually see the same thing happen again, maybe next April, half a year from now. So fingers crossed. Hopefully we're able to deal with it. There's a lot of therapeutic already appeared. Hopefully this therapeutic is able to deal with Omicron infection. I'm not sure if Omicron is much worse. I do not know yet. When I know more, I will share more on this channel. I'm not sure the vaccines that we are taking now has any use. The vaccine they are taking now is perfect for Alpha. It is less perfect for Delta. Less perfect. I understand that Moderna is stronger, so Moderna have a stronger defense against a Delta variant. Pfizer lesser, and then the rest, the Chinese one, you can forget about it. Although it does something, it's not that it doesn't do anything. And then I think there's a Novavax, right? There was a new one that come out. I think the Novavax is quite good. It's a protein based. It's not a mRNA or mRNA. Yeah, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, or RNA, whatever. So Novavax is a protein based one. I heard from the expert on TV that it's not as good in the longer term basis. Anyway, whatever works. I just hope that we don't have to continuously getting jabbed all the time. But Omicron is coming. I think every country is now preparing for it. I'm not sure how much they can prepare. We are going to go back to lockdowns, at least temporary ones, and then hope for vaccines that can work against Omicron, and hopefully our therapeutics can all deal with Omicron. So I believe the pill, there's a pill that I covered in this channel before as well. That pill was said to be able to deal with all the variants of the COVID-19 because of the way how it tackles the virus. Hopefully it will work with Omicron. I will cover that as well when I read more about it. I think they are probably making a study now about it now. So anyway, terrible news. Please take care, and I'll see you in the next video.